Good morning, friends, and happy Easter. Unitarian Universalism is a faith that draws inspiration from many sources, and today we will be drawing heavily on our Christian heritage. Our opening words this morning are taken from the four canonical Gospels, describing the scene as Jesus was crucified. Mark chapter 15, verses 40 through 41. There were also women looking on from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and of Joseph, and Salome, who followed him when he was in Galilee and ministered to him. And there were many other women who had come up with him to Jerusalem. Matthew 27, verses 55 and 56. Many women were also there looking on from a distance. They had followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering to him. Among them were Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee. Luke chapter 23, verse 49. The women who had followed him from Galilee stood at a distance watching these things. And from John chapter 19, verse 25. Meanwhile, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. Our reading this morning is taken from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, a Gnostic Christian text written sometime in the 100s, discovered in Egypt, written in Greek, and translated into Coptic, the language of Orthodox Egyptian Christianity. This is one of the books that the Roman Empire did not include in their Bible, and this excerpt begins with Jesus speaking to the disciples in an appearance to them after his resurrection. The Blessed One greeted them all, saying, "Peace be with you. May peace arise and be fulfilled within you. Be vigilant and allow no one to mislead you by saying, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is,' for it is within you that the Son of Man dwells. Go to him, for those who seek him find him. Walk forth and announce the gospel of the kingdom." Having said all this, he departed. The disciples were in sorrow, shedding many tears, and saying, "How are we to go among the unbelievers and announce the gospel of the kingdom of the Son of Man? They did not spare his life, so why should they spare ours?" Then Mary Magdalene arose, embraced them all, and began to speak to her brothers. "Do not remain in sorrow and doubt, for his grace will guide you and comfort you. Instead, let us praise his greatness, for he has prepared us for this. He is calling us to become fully human." Thus Mary turned their hearts toward the good, and they began to discuss the meanings of the teacher's words. Peter said to Mary, "Sister, we know that the teacher loved you differently from other women. Tell us whatever you remember of any words he told you, which we have not yet heard." Mary said to them, "I will now speak to you of that which has not been given for you to hear."
I started my religious life as a member of the Nazarene Church. That's where I was baptized and first began my faith journey. It was a lovely, diverse congregation and met the needs of my family. Later, when we moved to Seattle, I needed to go church shopping. I read about a church in the news that was focused on celebrating diversity and was immediately interested, but I didn't keep the article, so I couldn't locate the actual church. This led me on a search for such a place to attend, and along the way, I found the Unitarian Church. So for me, my entry to the Unitarian Church wasn't a faith struggle, but a search to find diversity. In that way, the openness of our beliefs has allowed me to celebrate my Christian faith alongside the vibrant tapestry of beliefs that incorporates our congregation. For me, Easter is an important step in the paschal mystery, which is the core religious belief centered around the passion, death, and resurrection and ascension of Jesus Christ, which is seen as God's plan for salvation for humanity. It is where God draws closer to humanity and brings us closer to him and to provide us with forgiveness and a path to heaven. I understand that not everyone has had a positive religious experience with mainstream Christianity that I have had, and for that I'd like to apologize and say we're not all like that. Even if someone tried to slam the door of faith in your face to try and keep you out, I want to invite you to open a window to the wisdom of a different kind of Christianity that has to offer. Currently, I am on a path to enter the ministry. 2 years ago, I entered into a long, ongoing discussion with God about everything in my life. Love, career, extracurricular activities, everything was on the table. It wasn't always a deeply religious conversation and came just in time for a midlife crisis. And I add to that I was homeless with nothing to do, so God and Jesus had a captive audience as I wandered around Seattle. At times, our discussion centered on the love of my life, teaching music, and actually quickly became one of the biggest critiques sessions. By the end, I moved even closer to God and found out while I enjoyed teaching and would miss it, my new path was into the ministry where I could share my experiences with others. If you are compelled to close the door on traditional Christian rhetoric, open a window, because God will stand at your window and accept your feelings and point of view and love you from there. He loves and doesn't want to lose you. For me, it wasn't so much opening a window because I had never closed the door. I just didn't know what to do, and I just stood at it. Now I have a better understanding of what to do with my open door, to the point that I feel like pushing up chairs to windows and inviting everyone I encounter to sit down at the window and see what happens. Or better yet, open the door and pull up a chair and talk to God and Jesus on your own terms. I guarantee they speak UU. That is why I love our UU faith, because if you like, you can sit at the window or throw open a door and meet with God on an entirely different level.
Happy Easter, my friends. I'm grateful to be together with you today in this pluralistic congregation to explore this great mystery of the Christian tradition, the resurrection of Jesus following his public execution by the Roman Empire. As we've heard this morning, the only way anyone knows about the resurrection is that the women were the very first to preach the gospel, the good news that Rome, with all its power and all its violence, could not truly kill Jesus. Here are some of the words that Mary Magdalene's gospel puts in Jesus' mouth. Quote, all elements of nature are interwoven and united with each other. There is no sin. It is you who make sin exist when you act according to the habits of your corrupted nature. This is why the good has come into your midst. It acts together with the elements of your nature so as to reunite with its roots. If you are out of balance, take inspiration from manifestations of your true nature. Those who have ears, let them hear. And then there's this one. It is within you that the Son of Man, meaning Jesus, dwells. Go to him. For those who seek him, find him. I don't know about you, but to me, this Jesus portrayed in a text that is said to be written by a woman sounds like he might fit right in here at UU Church. As Unitarian Universalists, we claim direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder as primary sources of UU inspiration. These experiences open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. Whether we find that transcending mystery by looking outward at the interwoven web of the elements of nature, or we find it by looking within to the spark of wisdom that dwells inside of us, or if we open the door or the window of our hearts to receive the wisdom of Allah, Yeshua, Buddha, the great goddess, Krishna, the scientific truths of the universe, or simply love. Our UU faith is grounded in our own experience of mystery and wonder. And in that sense, we are Gnostics, just like the early Christians who wrote the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. The Gnostics truly believed that the Son of Man dwelt within them. And by looking within, they could encounter his wisdom through their nous, an ancient Greek word meaning intellect, mind, or reason. I see echoes of this in Margaret's sharing this morning, in her commitment to being in conversation with God and Jesus. And I'm reminded that to truly understand a full picture of any religious faith, we need to listen not only to the men, but to women, to non-binary people, those who have wisdom from the margins that those who are more privileged lack. No wonder the Holy Roman Empire didn't want this message included in the book about Jesus that they would use to unite their empire under one state-sanctioned religious institution. Just like white enslavers who edited the Bible they gave to the people they enslaved to try to mask the truth that Jesus is always on the side of the marginalized, the enslaved, the oppressed, so Rome curated early Christian literature to reinforce systems of oppression, including patriarchy, and to quash the radical, egalitarian message of Jesus to love one another, to serve the least among us, to reject material riches, to be a neighbor to all. For me, no longer a Christian and yet deeply inspired by the teachings of Rabbi Yeshua ben Yosef, the good news, the miracle of Jesus' life and death and what came after is that his message outlived the empire that killed him and then sought to co-opt him as a means of social control. Whether or not we believe in the literal resurrection, Jesus' message lives on today, right here at Saltwater Church, when we declare that it is our mission to practice love, foster connection, nurture spiritual growth, and act for justice. May it be so. May we be the ones who make it so. Blessed be, and amen. My friends, may we be like the women of Easter, bearing witness to the depths of humanity's violence and pain and still showing up to do the work of community care, still able to inspire others to abandon their fear and believe that there is another better way. In the words of Reverend Dr. Tracy Blackman, another powerful woman who preaches the gospel of Jesus, quote, resurrection is not just a day, it's a way of life. If you find yourself in a season of doubt and death, resurrection is a reminder that death is never the end. Our worship now is ended. Go forth, carrying the flame of our faith in your hearts, a gift to the wider world.